Okay. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
Coach Rick here. I want to welcome everybody to the first workshop in the I Want to Know Now, right now, series of workshops on the Virtual Hope Institute. I want to welcome everybody. And I want to thank you, first of all, for taking the opportunity to come do this with me and to begin to experience this change that we're going to go through together. And first thing I want to do is my exercise, because this exercise is very important to us in reaching that place where we're open to receive from our Creator and the universe. So if you would please, we're going to do our breathing exercise. And when we do the breathing exercise, I want you to think about a place that is your place of peace and harmony. For me, it's on the shore of a cliff overlooking the river with the sun rising. The way we do this, put your hands together in the form of prayer. We're going to breathe out when we go up. We get to the pinnacle, we're going to blow our air out of our lungs completely. You want to blow all the air out of your lungs, expelling it all, and to come back around where you're in the prayer form again. We're going to do that several times. And I want you to think to yourself, I am a wise and knowledgeable being as we're doing this. So here we go. 1. The 5th time. Okay. I'm a wise and knowledgeable being. So now, oh, feels so good. So here's what we're going to do. For the next 6 weeks, we're going to go through a 6-stage process. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to just do an introduction to why we're here and what the Hope Formula is all about. Then what we're going to do is we're going to go through each one of the phases of the Hope Formula: honesty, omnipotence, pure love, and essence. And then the final thing we're going to do is we're going to talk about putting together a strategy with a vision statement, goals, and objectives for how you're going to go out into the world with what you've discovered over the last 5 weeks. So in that 6th week, you're going to walk away from these workshops with a better understanding of where you are. So let's get started. First of all, I want to ask anyone, does anyone have any questions about why you're here, about anything we're going to do before we get started? I've got someone trying to get in. All right, someone on the phone just came in.
Hello,
Who's that?
this is Helen.
Helen, how are you? Glad you
I'm
could.
good.
So glad you could make it. Okay. So I was just asking if there's anyone who has any questions about what we're going to do over the next 6 weeks. Okay. So tonight, we're just going to do an introduction. And pretty much what I'm going to do is going to be kind of a lecture thing with a Q&A at the end. And then you're going to have a homework assignment. And kind of like a normal class kind of environment. And it's kind of important that we do it that way, right? I wrote this book called Hope, Your Essence Navigation System. Combined it with a workbook to help you get to use those exercises to get where you got to go. Tonight, we're not going to do any exercises. We're just going to talk. I was born in 1957 in Richmond, Virginia, to Barbara Ann Hierholzer, Barbara Ann Bozarth Hierholzer, Mabe. She was Bozarth Hierholzer at the time. We went through a lot together, my mom and I. We were homeless. My dad was a drunk. My dad was a drug addict. My dad committed suicide. A whole lot of things we went through. The reason I'm sharing these things with you right now is because I want you to understand just real quick who I am. I think most of you have already heard part of my story. And I'll give you the opportunity, if you want to, at the end of tonight, to share some of your stories if you'd like. You don't have to. It's none of my business if you don't want to. But part of what you're going to need to do for yourself as you go into these workshops is you're going to need to look close at yourself. So I was one of those guys that went through some pretty hard times. To be honest with you, I had to choose a lot of different things over my lifetime, from youth until grown up. I had to choose my sex. I had to choose to be whether I was going to continue to be doing drugs. I had to choose whether I was going to continue to hurt people or help people. I had to choose whether I was going to be a black sheep in my family or whether I was going to be saved within my family. And all of this was a purpose. There was a reason why God put me through those things in order for me to get where I am today. But understand that I had to, at some point, accept the responsibility and accountability for the power that was bestowed on me. Is someone trying to speak right now? Okay. Every once in a while, I'll see someone try to say something and I'll stop. I'm not greedy with the video. I'm not egotistical with this thing. So we grew up, went through a whole lot. I went in the Navy, got married, had 3 kids, got divorced, got married to a lady who's got 3 kids. We got 6 kids now, got 12 grandkids. In 1985, my mom started teaching about the child within. I didn't fall for it, but then I started to fall for it. She kept telling me that the child within, once you start to understand the child within, you will begin to understand what God wanted you to do, what the universe is connecting you with in your lifetime. The child within is what we have now come to understand to be our essence. So here's what I want to ask you a few questions. Have you given up on your life purpose? Are you here tonight because you're feeling challenged with your relationship with God? Are you here tonight because you're feeling like you're lacking fulfillment? Are you here tonight because COVID has left you feeling lost and abandoned by those who are supposed to be supporting you. I need you to gain some level of understanding of what has gotten you to where you are in order for you to be able to move forward and get out of where we are today. There are so many things that we have been exposed to in our lives that we need to go over together. Maybe what's missing is an understanding of the experiences that we've already had in our life that's setting us up to get where we need to be. Maybe it's the life lessons that we've gained that have been put on us in order to get us where we need to be. You think? When you dig into the heart of my book, you're going to see that these things that we're going to be talking about are really simple, that a man of a normal upbringing should be able to grasp. These are things that we're created to have within us, but that we have lost for some reason. So here's what you're going to do in this book. You're going to navigate your way through the following things. This is about self-discovery. You're going to uncover what it is you were here to do, what it is you're here to achieve. You're going to reach a new level of knowledge about what it takes to be honest day to day. You're going to discover a new knowledge about your openness and your omnipotence and your ability to receive answers from God. Because I know these things to be, and you do too. You just need to uncover it again. You're going to learn to love with a foundation of purity in your heart and your presence with all things. And once you've embraced honesty, omnipotence, and pure love, you're going to discover your essence, your life purpose. And finally, you're going to integrate all that you learn into a new life plan. What you're about to experience will have a profound impact on you and the people around you. So I ask that you pay attention to what you're going to do and to the exercises that are contained within the pages of that book that you've got. I took everything that I've learned for the last 32 years and condensed it into 153 pages. And however many pages that workbook are. I don't know how many pages there are. I can't remember.
161.
Thank you. So I ask that you really pay attention to what's in these 161 pages and that you follow along with that, because in those condensed pages, I believe there's really, really a lot of value. So in order to obtain maximum benefit, I ask that you follow the formula. So if you don't have the workbook, which you should now because I gave it to you, I hope you printed it. If not, you should print it before next week, because you need to be able to write inside that workbook. I want you to get a blue ink pen. Why do I get a blue ink pen? Because blue is a refreshing and calming color. Psychologically, it's calming, it's refreshing, and you're going to need to remain calm because you're going to have a refreshed view of your life. You're going to be defining your transition strategy and your action plan. You need to write with blue ink. There's something else special about blue. Blue is powerful. Oh, Seth is coming in here. Hold on, y'all. Seth. Hey, Seth.
Hey,
Hey, buddy. How you
sorry
doing,
for
man?
the. Oh, well, my computer didn't want to support the software to get online, so I had to come in the back door through my phone. So,
That's what That's what I heard, my friend. So just join in. We've already done our breathing exercise. I understand you went to the dentist today, so I hope your teeth are feeling better.
Oh, yeah, they did teeth cleaning, so
Yeah.
they got it in there pretty good. My mouth is tore apart.
All right. So we're talking about what we're going to be doing over the next 6 weeks. I think you've already got a pretty good idea where we're going with this. I've talked to you a little bit. I was just saying that I need you to pay attention to what's in the pages of the guide, the book that I gave you, and the workbook. I need you to get a blue ink pen because blue is a refreshing, calming color. It's a psychologically calming. You're going to need to remain calm through this thing because you're going to come up with a new life plan for yourself. But blue is also considered a power color. You'll need to feel the power of your plan as you develop it in blue ink, and it will help you to realize your inner power, that blue. If you look at me right now, you'll understand how powerful I believe blue is. I got blue all around me. I love blue. Blue is blue. Blue is powerful, calming, and I love it.
Okay.
We did our breathing exercises, and I asked you to say to yourself when you were doing those breathing exercises, I am a powerful and wise person of knowledge. When you're doing that breathing exercise, there's something very important that sets you up to do. Listen. One of the most important things that we're going to undo, what you're going to start realizing is that as you are doing that breathing, you are opening up your channels. It's like a very quick meditation. You know, when you sit down, you get in a lotus position and you do the thing and you do the thing, that's really great. It really works well. But also doing the breathing technique and going like this accelerates your ability to receive information. So what you need to do is make sure that you understand that when you're doing that breathing exercise and you're opening up your channels, be ready to listen because you're going to start getting information as you're going through these exercises over the next 6 weeks. Be ready. Be ready because you might be standing in the grocery line and you'll be standing there like this, getting ready to pay, and something will come to you. And I would advise you to have your journal with you at all times with your blue pen. And when an idea comes or the information comes, write it down. Be ready to write it down. It could be, even if it's just a little book like this, carry a little notebook in your pocketbook or in your back pocket.
I've got the perfect book for it.
All right. So then take that and write that idea down and keep it handy. Don't forget it. Okay. So have that with you. Write it down in a notebook. And here's why writing is important rather than doing it in a computer. First of all, you're ensuring that you don't forget what you just wrote. Second, you're legitimizing your thoughts, right? So they remain real to you. And third, you're recording history. How many people do you know, especially girls? I know girls keep diaries, right? Imagine if you had recorded your entire life. I wish that I had recorded everything I'd ever done back in the day. Not only would it be a best-selling novel, I have no doubt that if I recorded everything I'd ever done and wrote that, and it'd be a best-selling novel. One of my mentors, Kevin Trudeau, bless his heart, he's locked up right now for trying to be a good human. Don't ever think that they won't lock you up because you're being a good human. They will lock you up for trying to be a good human. Believe it. You need to be trainable, and you have to have a willingness to accept change. You're going to get there. If you don't think you're there now, it's okay. You'll be there. If you stick with this thing for the next 6 weeks, I promise you that you're going to be willing and able to accept change. You're here right now because you're already in that mindset where you're willing to make changes in your life or the life of others. Maybe you're here because you're good the way you are and you want to gain some knowledge to go out here and change someone else's life. That's cool. I want you to challenge everything that you've ever read, or that you've ever been taught, or that you ever hear before you accept it as reality. I want you to take what I'm teaching you and I want you to challenge it. I want you to say, all right, I'm going to go do my own research. I'm going to verify the things you're telling me. One of the best ways to do that is by thinking about it. Use your common sense in your head to think about the things that you're being taught about or that are being told to you, and think it through. That's really one of the best things you can do, is just think it through. You ever heard the saying, an honest day's pay for an honest day's work? This is not an easy thing for you guys to do. It's not easy to take on the honesty, omnipotence, pure love, and essence work that you're about to do. It's much more easy to just leave it alone, roll over, and accept things the way we have for the last however many years you've been on this planet. But I'm promising you this, that if you continue with this and you get through it the whole way, on the other side of this thing, you're going to see an amazing change. I know it. Sheehan knows it. Everybody knows it. That's been doing this stuff for a few years, understands that what we're embarking on right now is an amazing change. I told you last time about affirmations. Some of you have already contacted me and told me that since the last time we spoke, you've already experienced affirmations come true. So an affirmation is the assertion that something exists or is true. As I've said to you already, when you affirm, you believe. When you affirm that you're going to make something happen, you're going to believe it's already there. So what I want you to do from this point forward is I want you to assert to everyone that you meet and see that you know your life's purpose, your essence. Even if you might not really understand what it is right now, you know you're embarking on what that is right now with your connection with God and through what you're going to do over the next 6 weeks. The development and transmission of affirmations about your life is the tool combined with the hope components in this course is going to result in the creation of your reality. Think about how powerful that statement just was. The development and transmission of affirmations about life is the tool combined with the hope components in this course is going to be the result in creation of your reality. That's affirmations. Conceive with honesty. Believe in your omnipotence. Receive with pure love and achieve your essence. And I'm going to affirm right now that my camera is going to focus again. There it goes. So, something else you want to think about too is develop an idea of a mastermind group in your head. Who are some of the most influential people that you can think of that you would like to be able to learn from every day? And when you're laying in bed at night, think about the group of people that you would put into a circle of people who you'd like to learn from. Jesus, John F. Kennedy, I don't know, Gandhi. They don't have to be alive, or they can be alive. Who would be your mastermind group who would help you to develop where you need to be? And you don't have to define that tonight. You don't have to define that in the next week. I would say that by the time 6 weeks rolls around, you probably will want to affirm and put together a mastermind group of some kind. Quanta order. So a mastermind group is another tool for affirming where you're going to go. It's another tool for defining your wisdom, to bring your wisdom together. Two, when you challenge the things that you're learning and the things that others are teaching you, the things that people are putting on you, refer to your mastermind group. Lay back, think about something that you've been told, and think about the mastermind group that could give you those answers. Okay. I'm accelerating here just a little bit because I know you guys got things you want to do. And if you've got questions, I want you to go to the chat button. You can put in your chat. We'll ask questions, we'll get answers. So the summary of where we've been to this point. You understand that experiences that you've had are intended to be lessons, not things that have happened to you, but lessons for you to learn. Try to believe that if you can. If you don't believe it right now, and you still feel like these are things, why did this happen to me? It's okay. It's an understandable feeling that you might have. But as we evolve and we go through these lessons together, it's my belief that you will understand these are lessons rather than things that have happened to you. The course that you're undertaking is one about self-discovery. You need to write everything down and you need to use blue ink. You need to learn to breathe properly. Ensure that you're trainable and you're willing to accept change. And you need to understand that affirmations provide a positive present tense statement about a situation that you're going to have. Okay? Any questions about that first piece of information that I've talked about right now? I'm doing a good job, I guess.
I think I missed the last part. I mean, I got the part about believe that everything that's ever happened to you has been lessons for you and not just things that did happen to you. And to keep a journal and write in blue ink and do the breathing exercises. Now, after that, you said something else and I lost part of my connection or whatever. My internet is unstable, so I did not get part of what you said.
Okay. Understand and believe that you're trainable, right? And that you're willing to accept change. That's part of what we need to get through in the early stages of our lessons together, is that you need to be willing to accept change and that you're trainable, right? Because part of what we're going through here. And the last thing was that affirmations provide a positive present tense statement about a situation. So affirming when you're speaking about a situation will help you to accomplish that, like in the law of attraction. Okay, did that answer it? Did it help?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. Anything else? Okay.
So do you think that you believe then that when you're affirming about a situation, even though it hasn't happened, being positive about it, more or less like speaking it into existence, thinking it into existence, that the law of attraction will bring it to pass? Is that correct?
That is absolutely correct. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, and you got to be careful with that as well. Yeah.
Yeah,
Now,
you could do the wrong thing.
well, that's what I mean about that. Yeah, you know, as you go through the honesty assessment later on, and even your omnipotent assessment, openness assessment too. When we start building affirmations, we just have to be careful about what we affirm and the language we do it in. That's why we do these exercises, to learn how to do affirmations, because they will happen, and you just have to, you know, be careful about it. You don't want to do anything in a dark light. You want to do things in a light In a dark sense, you want to do things in a light sense. Okay, moving on here. So the next thing I want to talk about is the pieces of the formula that we're going to go through, and then we'll wrap it up for the night. So the definition of hope in my world is that it contains 4 pieces. And in my book, I call it honesty, openness, pure love, and essence. Now, and I'll get to the openness piece in a minute, but first of all, let's talk about honesty. Well, first let's talk about hope, the word hope, right? It's a noun. It's a wish or desire accompanied by confident expectation of its fulfillment. In Christianity, it's a theological virtue defined as desire and search for a future good, difficult, but not impossible to attain with God's help. There's many ways to say hope, right? There's a Hebrew word, tikva, Japanese, kibo, Arabic, amal. I'm not going to go into all those words. That would just be an exercise of futility in the pronunciation of hope in different languages. The point is that hope is a wish or a desire accompanied by confident expectation of its fulfillment. My idea of hope is it goes in a different direction than that, right? It seems to me that when people use the word hope these days, it's in the context of a crisis or some disaster. It's fallen on someone or some situation. But when we're done, you're going to know that each time you use the word hope in the future, you're going to be drawing the power of honesty and assessing any situation. You're going to openly embrace change and new thinking that fills you with knowledge. You're going to love all things with purity that can only come with no strings attached. And you will knowingly exercise your essence to decide your role in any situation or solution. That's how you will apply the logic of scientific discovery integrated with the miracle of creation to make your vision a reality. And this is where I come to you with the power of hope, okay? This is where I want you to really start thinking hard about how powerful this is going to be for you, okay? The whole definition of hope needs to change in our realm of being for you and me. It already has for me, but it will for you. It's a whole different way of looking at hope. Because with this meaning of hope firmly planted in your beliefs, you will know that every time you address someone or some situation with hope, you're unleashing the power of the universe to align itself with that hope in your heart. Every time I say that, knowing how honest that is from me, it brings me almost to tears because I experience it. For you, hope holds a much more different meaning than for others who have not discovered its power. In those 4 words. If the concept of the power of our universe or the miracle of creation are foreign to you, don't fear it. It's going to be provided in the explanation of these ideas in the chapters that are going to follow, y'all. For now, just consider the idea that there's now evidence and growing segment of the evolutionism and creationism sectors of knowledge to say that 2 sides of the coin being the condition of being human, and the one side being creation, intelligent design theory, and the other being evolution or scientific theory, are intrinsically joined at the hip. Think about that, okay? Challenge it, please challenge it, but think about that. Think on it. This is something that I struggled with for years. The idea that creationism can't exist with evolutionism. I say to you now, that's false. The 2 are intrinsically joined. is called intelligent design theory. For those of you that don't believe that we are evolving after being created by an intelligent being called God, just look around you. That's all I need to say, I think, on that little piece of information. Instill upon yourself the wisdom of this information. We were created in a likeness of God, and we have evolved our thinking to the point where we can create aircraft carriers. So, does that not ring a bell of truth with you, of honesty with you? The answer to fulfilling life is so simple. It's so simple that once you discover the simplicity of its secret, you're going to wonder why everyone didn't know it. That should strike a lot of emotion in you guys. It really should. If you join the two heads of that coin, the head and the tail of that coin, you can't help but understand that we've been lied to. We've been lied to. Okay. For many people, life is a daily struggle. And if it's a struggle for you, it's understood. It was a struggle for me for many years. It still is to some degree. I'm not wealthy. I'm not wealthy by any stretch of the imagination. I drive a Dodge Caravan. Okay. I am trying to develop the Hope Institute. Yes, I am, but I am not, but I am wealthy because I am prosperous in my own essence. As I stand here before you, look how wealthy I am. My point in making that statement to you is I want you to imagine being a 3 or 5 year old kid. I want you to imagine that kid being handed off to various people as mom and dad have to go off to work or deadbeat dad isn't around. I want you to think about that 3 or 5 year old kid awakened out of a beautiful dream to be thrown with some clothes on, taken off to some child care place. And I'm not passing judgment on mom or dad that has to take their kid off to child care. I'm not going down that road. But just imagine that poor kid having to feel that way. Most of our kids are forced to learn the lessons of life from a third party individual because mom and dad are struggling to feed themselves and feed their kid. By the time you're 10 years old, you've been programmed with certain beliefs that may be completely different from what your parents and immediate family want you to know. Then one day you wake up and you realize that your parents are trying to tell you what to do, and they're so wrong about everything. One day you snap because the pressures become too much to keep bottled up and you kill them both. Whose fault was that? Whose fault is that kid went down the street and shot up a bunch of other people in that school? Do you know a family like that? Perhaps you should consider giving that family a hand before they do that kind of thing. Perhaps your essence is to go out and help them. Perhaps you sitting here talking to me right now, perhaps you're one of those people. Perhaps you are boiling over right now with COVID, George Floyd, rioting in the streets and all that kind of stuff, right? This paradigm is the same for millions of people, young and old, white or black, Christian or Muslim. They're people just like you and me. The 4 parts of the formula, beginning with honesty. Honesty is a way of life. It can't be manipulated or altered. When someone asks you a question, you can say, do one of 2 things. You can either answer it honestly or not. One of the things you guys are going to do, and you're going to start doing it next week, is you're going to assess where you are. You're going to do an honesty assessment where you're going to have to seriously look at where you are, who, what, where, when, and why. And I hope you will do it. I really hope that you will come back for the next 5 weeks and work within yourself to first honestly assess what's got you angry, what's got you hurt, what's got you disconnected from your God, what's got you lacking the love and the caring that you're supposed to have. What do you have to assess in order to get over where you are right now and move forward into the next realm of your lifetime? Some of the questions you're going to ask yourself: do I love me? Do I love you? Am I gay? Do I love my job? How am I feeling today? Am I fat? Am I skinny? But honestly, look at yourself. Like I look at myself in the mirror. Sometimes I don't like what I see. Sometimes I like what I see. But I do the assessments. Here's a good one for you real quick. Today I was watching on the news where I got distracted there for a minute. Someone was trying to get back in. I had to let him in. This guy has syphilis, and he goes to get insurance. The insurance company denies him, doesn't tell him that he has to go get a physical. The doctor doesn't tell him. The insurance company doesn't tell him, and the insurance company doesn't notify the health department that he's got syphilis. The guy gets married, the guy has kids. 10 years later, the syphilis gets into his brain, makes him insane. He goes out and murders a bunch of people. And then they put him in jail, and his wife comes back and just happens to say to the police that I wish that he had gotten his insurance or something to that effect. Police investigator says, you mean he was denied insurance? When? Make a long story short, the insurance company, because they didn't want to lose anything, because they didn't want to take the time to pay the staff that they have to pay to go tell the health department this man has syphilis, he was never notified. And if they had been notified, this man could have gotten the treatment that he needed, and his people would have never been killed. And he would have never gone insane because he'd been treated for syphilis and he'd have been okay. Now, I want to ask you a question. How many pinnacles of hope were violated by that insurance company? I want you to think about that as I continue through this thing, because we got to wrap it up. We're getting late. Okay, in my book, I talk about openness, the second piece of the hope formula. Now, openness for me also leads to omnipotence, which is our godlike power. We were created in the likeness of our Creator, God, with certain power granted to us in His likeness. Her likeness, its likeness, the God being's likeness. Don't call me sexist, please, because I'm not. If you get to know me, you'll know I'm not. So, but we're created in the likeness of God. When you have the openness enough, as you'll learn to exercise in what we're doing, when you do your openness assessment, you'll be able to understand that you need to accept your accountability and responsibility for the free will that God created you to have in order to be able to be a creator of your own. You're going to learn that in the week we do the omnipotent openness piece of this thing. You're going to learn to overcome the mysticism that you've been brainwashed into having. And I'm not saying that to be anti-religion or to be anti-anything other than to say that the fear of God has been beat into you to the point where people are afraid to accept the fact that they are creators in their own right. I say to you now, you don't need to be that afraid. Okay? We're going to come over that. Then you're going to understand what pure love is about. Pure love, that deep, tender, unbiased feeling you have for others around you and for yourself. Jesus taught pure love to us. Jesus wants us to love one another without reciprocity, without any fear, without any hate. What is happening in our streets right now is an abomination of the pure love statutes that Jesus was trying to teach us. There should not be anyone who is in such a state that they feel they need to rob and loot and riot for some reason, any reason whatsoever. Without pure love, we're lost. Without pure love, we're lost. And then finally, essence. You have within you a power that is unstoppable when you unleash it. When you think about people like Beethoven, Da Vinci, Bill Gates, Einstein, these are people who discovered what their pure essence was at a very young age. They discovered what it was that God created them to do and be. Did Bill Gates know at the age of 9 he was going to be a computer genius? No, but he did know, and he did realize that he had this ability to think along the lines of programming or whatever that was that created, that came out of him. He was open to accept what it was that was coming at him. Remember, I told you to listen. Be ready to listen and write down what comes to you, okay? So once you get through the 3 phases, the honesty, omnipotence, and pure love piece of this thing, your essence should start to blossom. You should start planning for that essence. Our current environment does not nurture your essence. Understand that what's happening in our schools, what's happening in our political nature, or in our political system, in our religious system, is not designed to help you nurture your essence, to discover your essence and nurture it. We have to overcome that. You have to overcome that. You can overcome that yourself. And there you go. All right. So, in summary, hope consists of honesty, openness or omnipotence, pure love and essence. Science, natural laws, and spirituality are all integrated into the fabric of our existence. Segregating any of these away from the program that is human existence has catastrophic effects. And finding your essence and developing your life around that essence is the secret. Finding your essence and developing your life around that essence is the secret. That's what I have for tonight. Any questions about what I just went over with you? Any comments? Come on, the floor is open.
I'll step forward. Rick, last week you called me and you asked me a question of what can you do to help us here to build our community.
Uh-huh.
I would like you to take a look at those who are here today that are surrounding me. This is our inner circle. And what did I say to you? To do exactly what you're doing. That's how you can help us, is to be able to open the minds of those working with us here so we can get on common ground and be able to be helping each other to build our team, not Darlene's team, not Kim's team, not Tegan's team, not whoever's team. It's our team. We're building universal paradise. We're working to create ideal conditions in which to live. Every one of us have this in our DNA code. And that's what brings us together as a true family, a true community, creating ideal conditions on this planet in which to live. And years ago, when we first met, I knew you had something really special to offer. So this is exactly what you're doing, how you're helping us to be able to understand the foundation, the sound foundation upon which to build our lives. So I do appreciate you and thank you for stepping forward and doing this. And then I want to also say thank you to our dear friend who, did she disappear?
Who's that?
Where's Cheyenne?
Yeah, she had to get off. She had to,
Oh,
she had to do.
another one. Okay, well, she's the one that finally connected us again. So again, we go back, our roots go back deep,
Yeah,
you know, and we have a sound foundation to build on. And I would like to have each of us that are building any kind of community, whether it would just be in our own homes, is to be able to have this wisdom so that we can work together to be able to bring this information to other people. I do hope that you will repeat this at least every 6 weeks and start over again. And I'm going to encourage everyone to make donations to the Hope Institute. And for all of those that are here today, I will be making a donation on their behalf. And so you'll be getting that soon. I just need to know which email you want me to send it to or how you want it to go, etc. But it is about voluntarily donating when we feel like we're getting value. And that's how you make really a sustainable income, is when people can donate. Maybe they can only donate a little bit now, but as they go forward, they're building their fortunes on, and then they can come back and then they pay it forward. So I really want to appreciate you. And for the new ones that I've not met yet, I live in Southern Indiana, along with most of the people that are here today. Helen is one of ours that meets on our Saturday night with the Neil Thing group. And I've not met Elizabeth, and I've not met, is it Kaya?
Hi.
Hi. So I'm looking forward for you bringing your friends, just as I've brought friends here, is to reach out to people you know and invite them to be a part of this history-making event right now. There's a lot here.
thank you, Darlene. Okay, so.
Coach Rick, are you, there were some questions in the chat. You had to ask
Okay.
people to comment there. So I put a copy that,
Oh, I see
question
it.
there.
Okay, I'll get
And
there.
also-
Okay. I'm going there now. Okay. Let's see. I got a bunch of them in here. Okay, hang on just a second. Kai says, look at God. That's awesome. That's awesome. What is that? I'm not sure what that is.
Oh, that was from the beginning of the conversation when Miss Elizabeth offered to help you with your website. That was from
Okay.
way at the beginning.
Yes, yes, you will be able to get a copy of the video. Yes. And this class will be every Tuesday night for the next 6 weeks, yes. Can it start earlier? I guess I'd have to ask everyone if they would rather it start earlier. I can start a little bit earlier. Tuesday, Thursday night. Yeah, Tuesday, Thursday night, call it 9 o'clock. Yeah, me too. What do you guys think? Maybe start at 6 instead. It start at 7 instead of 7:30.
That would work for me.
To that,
Are you on Eastern?
I'm on East Side. I'm on the East Coast. Yeah.
Okay, there's one question that says on page 7 of the book, you say that the first step is honesty, and if people aren't ready to be honest, they should step away until they are ready. My questions are, and one was, how do you know they are not being honest with themselves? And 2, what recommendations do you make to help people become honest with themselves?
Okay. So here's what I recommend. By asking that question, by just asking that question, you're ready to be honest with yourself, right?
Oh, yeah, I'm wondering what your answer is. I read that thinking of other people that I've dealt with who feel they're honest but haven't been. And I can't convince them that they're not. So I was wondering if you had any recommendations.
Well, and here's the thing, and we're all dealing with that right now across our entire country. There's so much dishonesty that it's hard to even fathom how people can be so dishonest and so blatantly dishonest, right? So the only thing that we can really do right now with that is to take on our own change, right? So the way that I do that is, I'm not afraid to look at someone and just ask them, are you being honest right now? And do you understand what the meaning of honesty is? And if they're willing to listen to that, then you can go there. If they're not willing to listen to that, I would caution you to not try to push it too hard, because you could be putting yourself in danger. In our volatile times right now, it could be pretty dangerous for people to try to push that argument, if you will. But don't be afraid to say, are you being honest right now? And do you understand what the meaning of honesty is? And then if they say, well, what do you think honesty? Tell them, this is what honesty means, and you can't manipulate it. Truth you can manipulate. Truth, you can manipulate facts. You can turn facts around to fit your narrative. But honesty, you can't. Honesty, you simply cannot manipulate honesty. There's no way to take facts and change honesty. There's no way to change. It's absolutely impossible to change honesty. There's no way to do it. So that's really the only way that you can address that, is to just look at them in the face and say, are you being honest right now? And do you understand? Do you know what the meaning of honesty is? And tell them what honesty means. And but just be ready to back away from it if it gets too heated, and just let them go, and offer them to come to the workshop if you want to. Right? But for those of us in the workshop right now, those of us that have read that in the book, by being here, I would say you're ready to embrace the idea of honesty. You're ready to, I asked that in the book because if you're not ready to go there, I would say wait and do an honesty assessment, right? And ask yourself the question, am I ready to be honest with myself?
Thank you. Those are very wise words. I think some people may not even realize that they're being dishonest with themselves because they've lived their lives for so long that they have become their truths. Like you said, and truths can be manipulated, to fit your narrative. And so I have learned that it is, when I come up against those situations, a lot of time it is just a lot easier to step away and not say anything and just nod my head and go, okay. like if that's your story. But I appreciate that because it does give place to continue the conversation and have them become introspective about what they actually are allowing to escape in the conversation. Maybe not realizing because they've built upon their false truths for so long that that's exactly what they are. So I definitely appreciate that. Thank
And I
you.
think that's exactly what's happening in our country right now. If you look at some of the things that are being promoted as truths and by these politicians and people in our government and even people in our medical fields and across our country right now, and they're trying to convince us that they're being honest, you can just, it's blatant lies and dishonesty is being promulgated against us right now as American citizens. And you just got to wonder, at what point are they going to realize that they're not being honest and look at themselves in the mirror and go, oh my God, I've been so dishonest for so long. How do I get help? And people like us got to be there to catch them. People like us are going to be there to catch them. That's really what's going to end up happening is once we understand and come through all of this together on the other end, these people that you're watching right now, what they're going through, they are so dark that they're at some point, they're going to look up people like us for help. That's what we're going to do. But anyway, yeah, if there's no more questions, we need to wrap up. I know people got to go to their 9 o'clock training lesson with that other group. So are there any more questions real quick? If anybody wants to donate, if you can, I'd appreciate it. You just go onto the website, livinghopeinstitute.org. Go to the main page, just livinghopeinstitute.org. There's a donate page there. There's a bunch of different ways to donate. If you want a hard copy of my book and workbook rather than the ebook, I already gave you all the ebook, but if you want a hard copy, you can purchase that. If they're the two together for $25. There's other things you can buy for a donation, or you can just make a cash donation. I think there's a button. There's like 4 buttons on the donate page. There's one that you can just make a cash donation, a one-time cash donation, whatever you want to donate, $5, $1, $10, whatever, $100, $10,000. That'd be great. But whatever you can donate is fine. Nothing if you can't. So anyway, to wrap up.
Can I just say to piggyback on what you just said, it's super easy. And I really appreciated that you have PayPal as an option as well as debit or credit cards. So it's not just if you don't have, and if you didn't want to put in like your account information, because I know some people are sensitive about that, there is an option to pay with PayPal as well. So it was a very easy process just to validate what you were saying.
And thank you so much already. Thank you very much. Also, then that wrap up, you guys, you have homework. Okay. You need to, one of the things that I've asked for everybody to do is try to read the whole book if you can. If you have enough time, try to read the whole book. If you can't, make sure that you read the next chapter before next week. Because next week we're going to do the honesty assessment, right? And I want to be able to spend some time talking to you guys about honesty. So the more work that you get done ahead of the next call, the more time we can spend together chatting, right? And talking through this stuff. So you have a homework assignment. If I may be so bold to say homework assignment, go ahead and do that. Take care of that chapter so we can spend more time together next week in talking through this stuff, okay? We'll do the honesty assessment. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. Look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Now, if someone asked if I'm going to continue doing this, yes, I'm going to continue doing this. Darlene, you're raising your hand. Go ahead.
No, I was just clapping for you.
Oh, thank you. All right.
Good job. Good
Love you
job.
guys.
Thank you.
Have a good week.
Is it at 7 next week?
Does anybody have an objection to 7:00 p.m. rather than 7:30?
How long do you plan these lessons to last?
1 hour, unless we have.
Either one works for me as long as we're able to, like right now, we need to get dialed into the phone conference that we do at the top of the hour.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I've got to figure that out. I'll figure out what went wrong and I'll make sure we get started right on time.
Okay,
Okay, so it's gonna stay at the same time, or you're gonna move it to the 7 Eastern, 6 Central?
I'll move to 7 Eastern, 6 Central for all of them going forward if nobody has an objection.
that'll be fine.
Okey doke. Thank you.
Thank you. Great job. Appreciate it.
Okay, guys,
Thanks.
next week.
Sorry I was late.
Right.
Sorry.
Good night,
Seth.
everyone.
All right. Good night.
Night.
Great job, Rick.
Thank you.
Thank you.